Give me sunshine, yeah, yeah.
Hey! Hey! Welcome to the Instant Tutorials by the Ruggeds, where every week we teach you a new breaking technique. My name is Niek, and we're gonna get into it. Today, 2000s. Yeah. I'm pretty proud of my 2000. I know there is like kids nowadays, they do like 50 2000s. It's ridiculous. Like, don't know what's gonna happen in 10 years. People are gonna start flying and breaking, but yeah. So don't mind my lack of rounds when I do 2000s, but I do have some tips and tricks that can really help you elevate your technique. So we're going to talk about two different 2000s. One is on your first hand, the other one is on your second hand, right? So first is an inside 2000, yeah, it's on your first hand, and the second on your second hand. So if you don't know Easy Rock, you can watch the Easy Rock tutorial by Jesse. And if you don't know a handstand, watch my handstand tutorial, because those two, you really need them to be able to do this right here. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we have to understand how to rotate in a 2000. So when you have a normal power move, you can continuously add force to it. But with a 2000 or 90, you have only one moment where you can give momentum. After, of course, you can still drill with your legs, stuff like that, but you can't really keep on adding energy. So it all needs to come from the beginning. If your beginning is off or weak, you can do more rounds, right? Makes sense? So that's something we have to look for. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to try to create a lot of energy by really throwing our body into it, okay? So the first thing you want to do is the first step of Easy Rock, but we're going to stay on our first hand, like this. Yeah? Now, for a 90 or 2000, you have to do something sassy again with your hands, right here. You see this position? Yeah? That's the only place where you want to stand, yeah? Don't put any force on your fingers. If you stand on your hands should be light, right? This is what's giving you the least amount of friction. So really try to feel how it feels to not use your fingers when you're standing on your hand. Okay? So now we're going to add power to our body. So what does it mean? It means that we throw as much of our weight as we can, and we try to lock our body, right? So force, and after you hold that force. So I'm going to show you just with an outside 90 what I mean. I throw my body around and I try to hold that force. That's what you want to do. Okay? So think of the hand placement and think of the feeling of where your body is going. Now, the trick with 90s and 2000s is the placement of your body and the placement of your legs. Okay? So when you're doing first hand 2000, the legs, they go inside. Okay? So you really are trying to close them in. Yeah? So watch, now I'm doing this. If I'm going here, you see my hands or my legs, they kind of wrap around each other. And the moment when that happens is really different on your first hand and on your second hand. So on your first hand, to me what it feels like is kind of like you're going under your armpit, right? So the moment you start turning, it feels like you're going inside your armpit. And your leg is going under the other leg. So my left leg is really wrapping around my right leg. And why is that? Because you're making force this way, but you need to adjust your body. Like if I'm going to put my hand down, it's going to be here, but my body is coming from this way, so I need to turn this force into force that's going up. So that's what this leg is for. Here, going here, trying to wrap it around the other one and try to find the place where that energy needs to go, so that I'm balanced on top of my hand. Yeah. So when you're doing your 2000, another thing you can do is you use your hands like this, and you try to make a slight angle in your elbows, right? So this is giving you that extra force. So you can decide the moment when you feel like, okay, now I'm in balance, you can give yourself a little push, which will create more force, but you only do that on the moment that you are in bed. Right? So you have this here. Yeah, that's a first hand 2000. Second hand 2000 goes a bit differently. There's different techniques. You can do a drill technique, or you can do a locking technique. Yeah. So let's start by doing the locking technique. What you're gonna do is, again, you're gonna use that force and block it. Okay. So we're gonna try to really sit like we're sitting on a chair. Yeah. And we're gonna try to be right above our body. So by doing this, our back stays straight, right? Doing this. And again, what you're trying to do is you're trying to make that rotation and lock it in place. This will give you a slow 2000, but a very controlled 2000. Yeah, so it looks a little bit like this. Here. And you try to lock. So it's not about creating a lot of punch in one moment, but it's really about trying to hold, sit, and feel the balance. Yeah, so you can really play with your balance and feel it out. Okay? The legs are pretty similar to a head spin. So it's first leg, second leg, and now you're gonna kick the one leg front and the other leg goes back. Okay, so you have this kicking motion, and after the kick, straight, you try to lock it, right? So you don't try to continue the kick, but you try to kick and sit in your 2000, okay? The moment you have that down, you will start to feel like you have much more control in your 2000. The second step is to get to drills, okay? So nice 2000s, like, I don't know, wings 2000s. Like, he has so much speed, you know, he can create a lot of momentum. How does he do that? By really taking his body in, down, the same like we did before, yeah, and pushing out. So the moment you feel like you're in the right spot, you take all that force and you push it up to the ceiling, yeah? For your hands, it's really important that you start to feel, when you do that easy rock, that your hand has to be here, and that becomes the new middle, right? So a lot of people that are doing 2000s or 90s, they do this, and then they do this. So because they don't shift the weight again, that their hand is the center of their body, they're off, right? And then you can do maybe 1 or 1.5 spin, but you always straight from the moment you start spinning, you spin out of balance, okay? So what you want to do is you want to go in your easy rock and you want to find that middle spot. The middle spot where your body should be. Then from there you do a slide. Like give yourself a little, how do you call it? Like a little, what is it? A little bump, a little push, a little bounce. Or you can just practice that move. I think it's also pretty fresh. And that's going to give you that power. So we're going to add it all together now. So we're going to go easy rock, lock, and push. Okay? Now, if you want to do that with some more power, then you get something like this. So yeah, enough talking. Go practice, like and subscribe to this channel right here for all that information. My name is Niek and I will see you next week.
Yo, can't get enough of our tutorials? Click on the link right here. And if you want to support us even more, you can buy some merch at theruggeds.com.